And thus concludes this little luck battle that we've been having for Black Clover. We did call it that this was going to be the end, and I did say as well from like last week's chapter, as there wasn't a lot to go on from last week's one, where I was like, I'm not gonna lie, if this is the ending of this fight, I'm gonna be very bummed out, and thus it is, and I am a little bit bummed out. But I will say for this chapter though, there was some really nice moments that we were seeing between Magna. Luck actually had a nice little ribbon just put on his whole little kind of like conclusion of his little arc as well, and they did try to raise the stakes as well with like Aston not being able to just fully solve the problem by just put the sword in, that takes care of everything. It was this or a chapter where we were seeing like we are seeing how potentially strong Luck can be, and it's like if he can actually master some kind of power, like if he could be to the power of like what this the elf version of him can do, then this will be truly terrifying. Plus some little things to be said about the Wizard King as well, like if we saw him like appearing out a little bit of this chapter. Quite a bit. We started off this chapter with like everyone just trying to hold down Luck, like as like they're like, okay, Aston needs to get this sword in, try to take it down, like we need to do it. He's like, you're gonna die, you humans. Like Magna and like Vanessa see this like right away. It's like, okay, we need to control Luck, we need to get him down now. We're drained, we've got no energy left to spare, but we can at least just do it by force if we have to. If they're like both dragging him down, it's like, you need to snap out of it, you dumbass, like that, let's get out of it. It's like, and he is freaking out, like he is like clearly like opening. And you're hearing this perspective from like both Luck, and like seemingly you're hearing the voices of like the other version of him as well. It's like he's there in like pitch black, and he's like, you know, what's going on? Like I'm hearing noises and all that, and it's like, what's going on? And you see that it's his mother. Like the one character is saying like, you're not normal, my child, like come here and all that, you have to be with me like all this time. It's like, you know, mother's the only one who loved me and all that, like, you know, she's the only one that accepted me for like who I was and all that. I want to see her smile. Like coming back to that stuff that like we haven't seen in a very long time. Like this hasn't really been talked about with Luck since like, honestly, ever since like the whole diamond, like when we went to like the whole dungeon arc. This is like the first time it is kind of been more talked about. Like since then, Luck has been kind of shown as like he's kind of more been a bit open to the other group. He's been a bit more accepting, and whilst he's having this turmoil like inside his head, like as like we can presume like with how like all the others and all that, it's like if it's too much, like, you know, open your eyes and all that, it's like we'll never give up on you, so come back. He's like, what are these noises? And then obviously this is Vanessa, Asta, and Magna talking to him, and whilst that's happening, he's like, fine, alright then, I'll release all my magic and it'll be over and all that, and this human's body too and all that. Is like, he's just losing, he is laughing, he's like, die, like you stupid humans and all. And there was this really creepy, grotesque face like just going across him, like, and it's like, we generally can't deal with this, like, holy shit, we cannot have him go off right now. And it's like, you know, everything precious to me was stolen and all that, so I'm going to do the same. Like, it is a child's mentality that we're seeing here. He's saying, I'm not going to forgive you humans what you've done. You took everything away from me, so I'm going to take everything away from you and all that. It's like, and Asta's like that, like, I'm sorry and all that, but like I'm really sorry this happened to you and all that. I don't understand what went on and all that, and what humans ever did to you guys, but for like, he's like, there's like, Luck, he's precious to us, he's our friend, he's like, please don't take him away from us and all that, and the ones who loved you and all that, is this what they wanted you to become? Like, and this is like, you're seeing like this now, like his body is actually changing, like you're seeing like the horns coming out, and you're seeing like his skin like turning this like grayish blackish color and all that, like all the pigments in his skin are just changing into this color, and it's just like this black electricity is like just coming out of him, and it's like, what is generally happening to him? And it's like, this like on the same scale of like what Vito did, like when he was going, like when he faced off against Aston and all that, when he was like, I'm just gonna blow myself. Same thing with like with Fauna and all them. It's like, this is their last ditch. Do like just the elves have this kind of ability. I know obviously he wasn't in his true form like with Vito, and like obviously like we can presume that Lyre and the rest of them can do something like this, but it was just dangerous. Like, this could actually be very devastating if this happens. And it's just like, and Luck sees that he's looking into the light and he's seeing like where his friends are and all that, and he's just like, you know, even if I'm like this and all that, people can still accept me and all that. And it's like, I'm sorry, Mom, but I generally need to go. It was this kind of little sad bit of him like kind of like walking away from his mother, and it's like, still, thank you, like, Mom, for like everything that you've done until now. And it's like, this is the first time you get to see her face, which I was like, oh shit, because we've already just seen her kind of like little bits of the distance from there, and like her crying, like, regardless of all the shitty things that she's kind of like done on there's like, it was kind of the one time where his like mother was kind of proud that like he was becoming a normal boy, like he was like actually kind of breaking out of the shell. That's why at least like it was kind of being perceived for the most part when we saw this like picture on there. And of course we got to see all the members of the Black Bull like seeing there saying, oh, you're gonna be a member of the Black Bull. I kind of like that. It's like with Finral, it kind of like took him out of the page just then. It's like, ah, fuck that guy. Like that, don't worry about him, we don't know anything about him, like that. And it was like, oh, like this is the people you remember and all that. Like even like Vanessa's like, oh, like I'm your big sis and all that. Like her like drunk off her ass. There's Gordon, there's Gray, you know, Charmy, like there's a piece of shit Gauch there, like Asta, like Noelle, Magna. And it's just like, I really liked that it was like, it was Magna was the one that kind of broke him out of it a little bit, where it's like, because that's his rival. It's not the fucking main protagonist. It's like, it was Magna that was breaking him out of there. And then when we see the Wizard King. We see him, he's like, the last little bits that he saw in his eyes where it's like, you can see the January where he's like, one day, like, you know, like humans and elves can live in peace and we can surely come to understand each other. And we still don't know what really happened between like the Wizard King, what happens to the elves. We don't know who else was with him at that time. Like, it's only ever been perceived that it was just him on there. So it's like, you see this sad little bit of like this elf that he's like, you know, I would have wanted to be friends with humans like you at some point, and like he kind of tried to understand that. He's like, oh no, like he's like, after seeing all of that go down, he's like, I wanted to and all that, like it would have been nice to be friends with like humans who were actually like you. We just got into a shitty like situation with this. And when we finally hit him and there's this huge like curse seal like kind of thing like just exploding off of his body, we see that Luck hasn't got the marks on his face anymore. His elf ears are gone and he's back to normal. And there's this really touching moment of like him like looking at each other, and one of the first real times we see like Luck crying. We see him like showing some actual emotions like that, and it's like, I'm everyone's friend, right? And I'm like, oh, like there's this nice moment just like Vanessa and Asta just sitting back for a minute like that, just like tearing up, and it's my boy Magna who fucking holds him, cuddles him up, and he's like, of course you piece of shit, like that, like come here, like that. He's just crying. And it was like again, it's like I am still disappointed that it's like we didn't get more of the rest of it, like to the fight. I would have liked a little bit more to that, but it made up because we had a great character moment for Luck. We had this really touching scene between him and Magna, and again, I feel like it was him that kind of broke him out of it, not just the curse. It was a little bit of resolution with like kind of like with Luck and his like whole family situation, where it's like he can now finally start to move forward instead of being before like he was just deteriorating. Like before that, like that kind of woke him up, but it was like once he finally realized he had something special with Magna, that there were literal bros, and that some of the adventures that they went on, it's like he was sort of in this kind of crossroads, middle of the road, where he's like he wasn't progressing, he wasn't descending either, he was just kind of stuck here. And now he can finally move forward in his life. Although that leaves the question, he hasn't obviously got that power anymore, and they defeated that. That still kind of leaves it like the concerning part. It's like, well, he's obviously still like awakened, but he's still him. It made you wonder. It's like clearly that like the spirits and all that were confining with each other. So it still leads up to the point. It's like, well, why is the one that's able to keep in control? And it still adds to our theory that it's like he was that child that was he was Leech's child all along. So that's why they was never able to like kind of like have some sort of personality with the spirit one. it depends. He could still be possessed by something on there, or maybe he's just that strong-willed that he has control. But we're gonna have to find that out, like, until later. Also, as well, I'm gonna say this as well, with this chapter. Like, yeah, of course, Magnus best man. Like, he's best boy, just fucking hands down. And like, like, especially with the anime and like with stuff that we've seen from him with the with the manga as well, it's like he's a character I'm looking forward to, and it's like I wish that he's in like a lot more game. Like, I know it's obviously going to be Asta and Yuno that are going to be the ones, like, so probably, like, when Jump Force comes out, it's probably going to be those two, if anything, but it's like, man, I would really rather have Asta, Magna, and Luck if they were the three people that got shown. Like, even that if it was Asta, Magna, and, like, Yami, but it's like, it's just like this, where it's like, you look at the fucking polls that they had recently, it's like, and you think about all the people that they had on there, it's like, Magna's way better than half of the cast, like, in here. It's like, better than half of the, like, the Black Bulls on there. So I'm very excited to see what we're going to be seeing of, like, Luck on there. I mean, there's a clear addition there. It's like, we've got one of the, like, allies of the Black Bulls back now, and it shows that it's like, if that can happen with, like, Luck's character, then you can see that maybe we can get that happening to Gauche as well, because now leaves the question with the Black Bulls. It's like, we've got these 4 members back. Now we need to head back and try and get back to the capital, and that's probably where the next chapter is going to be leading us, where we're going to be starting seeing Yuno's side of it, and maybe we might see what happened with on Gauche's side. We might be seeing, like, what happened last time with, like, Gordon, with Gray, like, what have they been up to ever since, like, that, like, and especially with Henry as well, with our new member. That's gonna be interesting when they finally meet up with Henry properly, where it's like, we've kind of known that you've been here, but it's weird, our relationship, for the most part, so I look forward to getting some of that stuff. I thought this was definitely a good to decent chapter, and it kind of did make up for, like, last week's one, where it's like, there was nothing really to mention about it, where it was like, it was just action, but it wasn't, nothing really progressed, and it was like, apart from that, oh, we might be done with this fight, and I kind of hope that's not the case for the most part. But overall, let me know what you guys think about this now. Do you think Magna kind of stole this chapter alongside with Luck? Let me know what you guys think. That's all from me, though. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you guys, though, next time.